we're not actually going to decorate the card as the first thing. We're going to create the little bag that goes inside, because we're going to create this little bag and a card. I'll just move my camera up a little bit because I've brought it down to show you the template. And I'm going to stamp a piece of paper basically to start with. Rather than using the pattern paper, I'm going to actually stamp some flowers and things onto this blank sheet of 3" by 10.5" paper. So I have got some ink pads in front of me. So I'm just going to start and get some stamping going. So I'll pop these 2 flowers on, I think, on my stamp set here. And I think I'll come in with just some Poppy Parade to start. Oops, I've already got inky fingers and I've only just started. I'm just going to come in and just stamp, and I'm going to stamp twice basically. So I'll come in and just stamp. So I'm stamping on and then stamping again. So first and second generation basically. And I haven't scored this or anything. I'm just coming straight in with the stamps, and I'm just going to cover it with lovely little flowers. Stamp. And make sure you're always kind of moving the stamp around so that you get a mix of different images. So it's not all just, you know, the same, going the same way or anything like that. You want to just have it random, basically, is what I'm trying to say. All very random. So I have to be careful with it stamped off. Let's stamp it off on there, that one there. And then I'm just going to come in and add some little bits in where I kind of think, pop one there, pop one there. Okay, and then there's a little leaf image here, and I'll just pop that onto a block. Not even an evergreen. I'll just see if this is a bit heavy. Let's see. I'm just going to see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Stamped on and stamped off. So, and I'm just going to kind of fill in, and this is just come in and just do a few little. Oh, it's like a little flower head. Actually, I didn't realise that. But I'm kind of, I thought it kind of looked a little leafy like. So I'm just going to come in and just pop that in different places around. So I'm really just creating my own patterned paper basically. And it's not going to be directional either. So, because like I said to you, don't bring a directional paper to start with. Because it's obviously always better to make these projects with a non-directional paper first. Oops, finger straight in the ink again. Don't know if you've been crafting if you don't have inky fingers, do you? So let's come in. Oops. So just come in. Oops. Stamping on twice and then re-inking. So stamping, stamping, re-inking. Actually, I think I'll stamp off for that one. Get a nice light one in there. Okay, and then just going along and adding those little leaves. And there'll obviously be some that will be just nipping off the edge of the page as well. So just come in and add those. That's probably about enough actually. I'm just going to come in with this little spatter, and I want this really, really light. So I just want myself some room. So I just want to kind of come in and just pop this little spatter down in some of the white space. Okay, so again, I'm stamping first and second generation, so coming in, and don't worry if it's going over, you know, the top of anything that you've stamped already. That's absolutely fine. So like here, I could do it here and it might just go on the leaf. I'm just kind of coming in and just stamping this in. And obviously I'll have somewhere it's coming off the page. And that's absolutely fine. So just sort of pop it in. So have it come that way. Maybe one there. And there. I'd like to just see where and where. Paper a little bit just so, as I say in Zentangle, turning the paper so it's comfortable for me. So just basically popping in the spots. And as I say, don't be worrying if the spots go over the top of something you've done already. It's absolutely fine. There's no rules. Okay. There. So just stamp off because I've got quite dark ones over this side anyway. So that's kind of, oops, that one didn't actually come out. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's kind of quite nice. Sort of, that's enough, I think. Just move my blocks and things out of the way, and I'll get my scoreboard in and show you how we're going to score this now. Now, because it's paper, you do have to be really, really gentle. Okay, when you're scoring, be very, very gentle. So we'll score at a half, then 1, then 5, 5.5, 6, and then 10. Now, if you don't have a score tool, you can actually just mark on using a ruler. So let me just show you. Actually, I'll just score the short side as well. And then on the short side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Now, if your paper was directional, the 1/2 inch is actually the base, the bottom of the bag, okay? So it would probably be, to be honest, be easier to score at 2.5 because that's still, that's just basically a 1/2 inch. So if my paper was directional, I would just do a score at 2.5, okay? So it's basically a 1/2 inch from one edge. You need to make a score, whether it's the top edge or the bottom edge. But just so you know that that score is for orientation, that score line is the bottom, okay? That one there is the bottom of the card. So I'm just going to come along and fold and burnish those scores that I made. Okay, that's Daisy. And then you also need to fold up that bottom one as well. Okay, so that's that. And now we're going to do some cutting out. So if I just show you my template, so all of the little squares at the bottom, so the little small square on the left and the 2 little squares on the right are going to be cut out. And then your middle 2 squares are also going to be cut out. So with the score line, the long score line at the bottom, you're going to be cutting away these 2 small scores. Here are the 2 small squares. So cut those away. Okay, so that's got to be cut away. The 2 little squares in the middle are going to be cut away. So they're going to be completely chopped. Okay, I'll just roll that up and then just cut along. So that one's cut away. And then we're going to just cut this end square, just a little single square on its own. It's cut. Okay, so we've cut the end 2 squares, the middle 2 squares, and that end square there. And now I'm going to just create tabs, and I'll show you why, because I didn't realize when I made the first one that my tabs actually showed. So I'm going to just create a little notch in on both of those, because look what happened on mine. When you open it, you can actually still see the base kind of there. I know it's only tiny, oops, but I just think if we notch those in, those square edges in, then you won't get that bottom of the bag showing whenever it's open. As I say, it's quite, you know, it's not really going to be that noticeable to a non-crafter that gets the card. But I just think for neatness, it's definitely worth just doing a little notch. Okay, so that's the main part of the bag done. But before we glue and do anything else, we're going to put some handles in. So with the folding, we're going to actually have to create like a little accordion, because the bag at the sides has to press down to go inside the card. So when you're actually folding this, that middle, the very, very center score line is going to go away from you. You're going to fold away, and then the other two are going to fold towards you. So you're going to have basically a valley and a mountain and a valley. So you're going to create a little mountain for that center score line. Just the center one is going to be pushed up, okay, to create a little valley. Sorry, a little mountain. So it's a little mountain that you're creating. Sorry, that's confusing. And then on the opposite side, the one where you've got the two lines, okay, so there's two lines here, you're going to fold in and then away from you again to create a little mountain. Okay, so again, you've got a little mountain fold there. Okay, so you've got two basic, it looks like a little Z there. Then you've got a little hill, and then this one's just going to be folded round, because it's basically going to be able to just close and glue together. Okay, so it's all just going to glue together, and you'll have two little accordions either side. But before we glue it, we need to put our handle in. So I'm just getting that all ready so that you can position everything to make sure your handles are going to be in the same spot both sides. Okay, so because you'll basically want to make sure that when your bag is closed, that your two little handles are going to be on the same, you know, in the same position like here. So my bag, I've got my handles, you know, lined up so that they're opposite each other perfectly. Okay, so this is where the washi tape come in as well. So to create the handles, I'm just going to obviously use a little bit of the white paper that I have, because that's what I've got on the table, and I've used white. So I'll, and you basically need two very fine strips. They're going to be 3.5 inches long. Okay, so if you're using your pattern paper, you just need to cut a piece of the pattern paper at 3.5, but we're only going to use a tiny, tiny, tiny smidge. So see if you've got any scraps, because all you're going to need is like a little sort of 1/16 of an inch. It's a tiny, tiny, we're just going to cut a tiny, tiny bit off. So if you've got scraps, like I've got scraps here, I would just cut one of these down to 3.5, and then I'm just going to take a little, like even this one I'll probably cut in half, because you don't want the bulk. You only want it to be very fine, so that when the card's closed, you don't have a big fat handle, you know, keeping the card open. They are just nice and fine. And in fact, when mine closed, I've done it so that one handle actually goes inside the other handle. Only just, you wouldn't even know, but when it's open, it doesn't look like one smaller than the other. But I've just made it so that it is just a smidge lower down, so that then whenever it closes, that closes really neat. So as I say, I'm going to just grab my trimmer, and I need just a smidge of white. So let me just see what I've got. 3.5, I said, didn't I? Let's just cut. I'm going to just trim the tiniest width off this white paper. Actually, if I do a long one, I'll just do a long thin strip. Let me show you what it looks like. It's tiny. Okay, I've taken the tiniest smidge for a handle. So I think it's probably about an 1/8, if that, or a 6. No, it's a 16th actually. So I've only done it a 6. So a hair's breadth of card that we're going to use, and then I'm going to cut that down to 3.5, and I'll create 2 of those. So go to 3.5 and just trim that, and then again go to 3.5 and just trim that. Okay, so I've just got 2 little sticks basically of paper that I'm going to use, and I've cut them to 3.5 inches. And I'm gonna, I'll probably just come in with a little bit of my stamps, because I've got the blank. I'll probably just sort of come in and just, oh, there's no ink on that. So let's just have a look. I'm just gonna ink these, because obviously they'll look a bit weird otherwise. So I'll just come in and just stamp down with my flowers, because I'm just using blank paper, just so that they kind of going to match in with everything. And I'll do that on both sides, because you kind of do twist the handles. Obviously, if you've got pattern paper, you're all sorted. You don't need to worry about doing this bit. Oops, can't even turn that over. Turn over. Thank you. There we are. It's just so that they're not just stark white. Right, and I'll probably get covered in ink now. Okay, so I'm going to get my little bag, get my handles, and I'm just going to loop them through my finger and through my thumb, so that I'm shaping them to that nice, you know, it would be like, you could do it with a bone folder, but really, because it's just a thin little bit of paper, we don't need to do that. But I just want to give them some shape. Okay, so the same with this one, just come in and just loop them through your finger and your thumb, just to give them some shape. And now I'm going to get some washi tape. So that one's nearly finished. I've just got some washi. I'm going to take a little strip. So I know, and this washi tape is basically going to hold your handle in place. So I'm just going to anchor that washi tape down, and then I'm going to get my handle and I'm going to twist it. Okay, so that it's quite tricky to see this. Let me put a darker color behind so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to just twist it so that it is nice and rounded at the top, but the 2 ends are flat. Okay, so it's going to be twisted round, and these 2 ends are going to be flat, and they're going to get tucked into my washi tape. Okay, and then I'm going to anchor one side, and then I'll play around with the other side. So I'll pull back my washi tape. It's quite firm, this washi tape, so I'm going to just pull it back, anchor one down so that that's in place. And I'm roughly making it obviously halfway along the bag. If you want to get your ruler out and get it in exactly the right place, please do feel free to do that. But you know what I am, I eyeball everything. So I've got my bag handle there. Okay, so that's popped in. And then what I'll do is I'm going to pop my washi tape on the other side. So get my washi tape roughly the same. So pop my washi tape down in here on this side, and then get my other handle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lift this washi tape a little bit back so that I can anchor my one handle down. And what I'll do is I'll come around And I'm going to just flatten my bag, but remember I've got the washi tape roll, so it can just, it's going to just be able to be stuck in, because I want to kind of work out where my handle needs to go. So I'm going to just get it one side anchored in place. So it's roughly about there. And then I'll just, let's pull that back. And you might need to play around with this a little bit to get it exactly in the right place. So I've got my bag handle the wrong way around. And then just, this is the only fiddly bit. And you could just pop punch holes in it. So you could just punch 2 holes and feed some twine through, and obviously you'll get that lined up perfectly. It's not so fiddly. But as you can see, I've got my bag handles, they're more or less in the right place, and one just fits under the other one. I'll just show you on there. One's just gonna pop under the other one, so that when the bag's closed, it will fit nicely under the other one. But as I say, you could also, maybe on the next one, I'll just punch some holes to show you, because if you've got a crocodile or a hole punch, you could just punch holes and create string handles. Okay, so that's my handles done. And now that I've done that, I can assemble. Okay, so is that back to front? Hold on, I got stuck right back. One, I think that'll be that way around. Yes, sorry, I have one of my little legs is back to front. So now I'm going to add tape. Okay, and I'm going to just be really careful whenever you're doing this, because there's no tape on these inside panels. Okay, the glue for the bag to go inside the card, you're going to actually be putting tape on the outside of the bag, so don't be putting anything on that bottom flap inside. And then the only tape we're going to do is we're going to pop some tape down on this side here, and then close over to glue the bag in place. Okay, so I'm going to get my double-sided sticky. So double-sided tape, just with this flap folded in towards you. Okay, so you're going to bring that flap in and pop the tape on there. I'll actually, if I show you from the outside, if you've got your bag completely flat with the pattern up towards you, that's going to be the outside of your bag, you just have tape on that last little flap. That might make more sense. Okay, so just that last little flap there. And then I'm going to take that tape off. And then I'm going to turn my bag over. I'm going to fold the flap over. I'm going to fold these flaps down, okay, so that they're in a nice accordion position, and then just close my bag so that those 2 sides, oops, Daisy, meet up. Sorry, it didn't meet up perfectly there. You want to make sure that they are going to just meet up nicely. That's it, perfect. And then just push down, and that's your bag. Okay. We're going to put glue along the bottom, just that score, where the score line is. I'm going to put glue on this side, and I'm going to put glue on this side. I'm using tape. Okay, and what is going to happen, I'm going to pop a bit of tape on there. Okay, and I'm not taking it off yet. I'm going to pop a bit of tape on that one. Okay, so just pop some tape on, because it's going to be easier for me to show you with tape rather than wet glue. Okay, so I've just got a standard white card blank. 8 by 5 3/4. I'm going to open the card and I'm going to take off one piece of the tape, okay, on the top there, and I'm going to position it so that it is just, it's not on the score line, but it's just to the right of the score line, okay? So just line it up, leaving just a tiny bit of a gap because you don't want it right on that score line. And then I'm going to close the card. Oops, Daisy. Move there. I'm going to just close the card over. And you want to make sure it's obviously centered, top and bottom, you know, that you've got the same space at the top and the bottom. Turn it over, remove that tape and close the card. And now you have a little bag in a card. So that's your little gift card. And it should be absolutely perfect in terms of your handles not sticking out. So now I can actually stamp on this side. So I'm going to get some words that I can pop in here. And I'm going to just grab my red ink. It's got something on there. Oh, it's not quite. And then just stamp that on there. And then obviously we can decorate the front now. Okay, so I've got that all done for the inside of the card. And as I say, that will just have a little gift card that will just pop in there. Okay, so you could have even a little Starbucks or Costa coffee card, can you? And just have a little cup on me or something. That'd be quite nice. So I'm going to do some stamping now for the front. So let's just have a look and see what I've got. I've got lots of images everywhere. So I think I'm going to just actually grab another piece of white. I'll just stamp that to the front and layer it up. So let's have a look. It'll be 5 1/4 because it'll be layered. By 3 1/2. And then I'll just come in again. Don't want to lose any of these stamps. Get my Poppy Parade. Oops. And just come in and just stamp on that. A little bit there in the middle there, so let's just actually probably get the smaller one. Just stick that on its own for a minute and just come in and do some. Okay, and then I'll get my little bud. An evergreen this time. Just come in and stamp that. Try not to get my lucky fingers anywhere. Or the full stamp one. Okay. Just from a little splodge. Okay. That's looking, yes. Just layer that. And I'm going to pop that on my card front like so, and I'll pop some nice little sentiment on there. So let's just get my tape, I think it'll be easier for that. Now stand up to stick this down. Let's put tape sticking up. There we are. Okay, so we've got our lovely little bag. So I'm just going to pop a little sentiment on the front, I think. Basically a little bit of card that is 2 inches by 2 3/4 inches. I'm going to just stamp onto that. Let's just pop that on there. Perfect. And then I'm going to layer that onto a piece of black card, and then I'll layer it onto the red card, and that'll go in the center in the little bag. And as I say, obviously you could have it with a little gift card for whatever you like, chalkies or coffee, as I say, from one of those chains. So pop that on there, like so. And then we'll just turn that down. To see how that looks. I'm using pop a little bit of as well, just to make it really stand out. So just glue that down. Now I could actually come in, I know I should have done this before, but I could very gently come in and just, with my red ink, just stamp a little flower down there, a little flower there, a little flower there. Obviously I should have been done at the start, but that's fine. So I'll have to move my camera a little bit. I think it's moved a little bit, just so that I keep going off camera. And then that can just be popped into, if you wanted to, I should have rounded all the corners, but if you wanted to, you could round the corners on that, but I'm just going to pop that in a little bag like that. So it's a nice little, life is better with friends like you, so we'll have that. So just a little thing for the front then. I'm just using the flowers of friendship because there's some nice little thanks on there. So a little card with thanks, I think, on the front. On there. Perfect. And then I'll just layer that, I'll probably just layer that onto a bit of black. Gonna work. Yeah, I think that'll work. I'll just trim it down a little bit. Just stick that down. Like so. And I think what I'll do is I'll actually just pop it on the side here like that. And we'll add something. Yeah, that's better. Keep it simple because all the fun's on the inside, isn't it, really? So that's that basically. So we've got a nice little card on the front there. Open it up and we've got that lovely little gift bag inside.